How would you feel about your voice being sampled and the sample, through artificial intelligence, being provided to potential buyers as an audition of what you would sound like? It's being not just considered, but being done on a test basis right now, and I'll talk about it coming up.
3, 2, 1.
Studio Takes. Real help for the aspiring voiceover artist.
Dane Scott with Pocket Frog.
That's right.
Coming up at the end, a special deal on voiceover coaching. Stick around till the end for that. Be sure to give me your comments, subscribe, and like the channel here so that we get more and more people that are following and so that we're showing up more in search. Comments, very important. Please do leave a comment today. All right, today we're talking about something that, I don't know, my gut reaction is not positive on, though I did have a very good and constructive discussion with a representative of Fiverr about it today, Adam over in Tel Aviv. We spent about a half hour jawing about it, and I learned quite a bit more about what they're trying to do. And what I want to do is to go over it with you, explain it in some detail, and then we can also give you a few impressions about it. But let me try and just explain first what they're doing and how it works. First, a little background, though. The reason that they've gotten into this is because artificial intelligence, where basically text is converted into a voiceover, is becoming more and more of a common thing. When you're on YouTube, I'm sure you've noticed there are channels where they talk like this, and it's constructed. It's not. And there are software companies that are making this software now. People can buy it. They can use it. There are online services where you just feed them text and they send you an audio file. Some of them are free. Some of them are paid services, and some of them are better than others. And in my opinion, none of them are super great yet. But the claim is that the time is coming when they will get better and better. Fiverr is watching the situation, and they're saying, well, maybe this is going to hurt our voiceover people, so maybe we should get ahead of the wave and somehow do more with artificial intelligence ourselves for voiceovers so that, we're not caught sleeping here when AI gets better and better and becomes more and more of a competitive force. So initially what Fiverr is doing is they are rolling out a test program where some of their talent, they're giving them the opportunity to have their voice sampled. You say a bunch of phrases, and then the software learns how to put those phrases together. And for those who are participating in the program, the way it works is if you go to their Fiverr gig, there's now above the regular demo, there is a little text thing showing up that says, want to hear a quick example of what this person would sound like on your project? Type in up to 100 characters here and hit play, and it will be played to you.
Hello, and welcome to Studio Takes.
What you've just heard is a very nicely voiced introduction to Studio Takes that cost me absolutely nothing on Fiverr. I just went to this particular voiceover lady's gig and typed in the words and hit enter and recorded it. Cost me nothing. It's supposed to be a place where we can find out quickly what someone would sound like doing our script, but as you can see, it also could easily be used to get free voiceovers. So theoretically, if it were me, and I had found out that, okay, Fiverr is now offering this service, and I wanted to have an AI done, and rather than paying for some company to do the AI for me, or some service online, or buying some software, or using a free one where I don't have as many choices of voices, I go to Fiverr, where there are, 25,000 people offering voiceovers, and, if they were all in this service, I could go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, till I find a voice that I think, oh, this would be really good with my project, paste in up to 100 characters at a time, hit play, while I'm meanwhile recording the output of my computer. And after I pasted in enough of those, I have the whole voiceover done in the voice of my choice. Okay, so there's one of the dangers of this thing. The other part of it that concerns me is this. Let's say that they do try out your voice, and they go, well, I don't feel that there was the right kind of emotion or whatever it is that they were looking for. Well, there's an obvious reason for that. There couldn't be. There's nothing there that's going to give the voice that kind of emotion, aside from maybe they can do some clever things where there's an exclamation mark or a question mark to make the pitch go up or give it more emphasis or whatever, but it's just not going to have the same kind of, nuanced delivery. And so it may be that people get turned away at the door, essentially, if you know what I mean. They get turned away at the door because they listen to this and they think, nah, Whereas if they had contacted you or me directly and said, hey, here's my script, can you give me a read of the first couple lines? Then we would be able to look at that script, determine, okay, what is the audience? What's the motivation? What's the style? How much sell should go into it? How much emotion should go into it? And this gets baked into the demo that we record for them. So auditioning without human interaction, I can see where this could be a problem. So not only is it in the clear right now, meaning that they could potentially just paste in text after text and get the whole thing done, but number two, because of the fact that it really is not how we sound other than just on kind of a superficial level, they could easily get the wrong impression and just go, no, next, moving on, so that we never have the chance to interact with them. So these are the things that when I was talking to Adam, I mentioned to him that I just felt were kind of a concern. Okay, the third thing then is this. Fiverr is considering, and this is the part where it gets a little dark, I think. Fiverr is considering the possibility then of, with the permission of the voiceover person, offering an AI version voiceover at a discount. So it would be a situation where, okay, maybe I charge for a 300-word narration, I charge $70, $80 or whatever it is, okay? So they'd have a choice of getting the real me for $70 or $80 or getting an AI version of me for 10 or 15 or what. I don't know how the pricing would go, but they're actually considering that as another step in this process, maybe a year or two down the road. So that this isn't just about using AI as a way of making things easier for buyers to pick a voice. It may be that as this is refined, that they'll actually set us up in competition with ourselves, essentially, if we agree to it. So that some of the, obviously the upside is we're not doing any work. The voiceover just happens and we get paid something for it. And obviously Fiverr gets paid something for it too. But there are a couple of issues that I see here. The first one is this. Let's say that some people opt into this and some people do not. And this is certainly going to be the case because not everybody is going to be in love with the idea of this AI voice thing. So will the ones that are offering this then be at a competitive advantage because they were willing to start selling themselves even cheaper? By offering an AI version of themselves. And as I said to Adam, I don't want to be the dinosaur. The dinosaurs right now are saying the voiceover industry is being destroyed by Fiverr, so therefore I'm not going to do voiceovers on Fiverr. Okay. I don't want to be the one that says AI is destroying the voiceover community, and therefore I will have nothing to do with AI. There is one way that I would agree to be involved in this. And that would be if two things happened with this demo, the AI demo. Number one, a very clear disclaimer, not just a pop-up that they have to pass their mouse over in order to see, but a clear disclaimer that's there all the time that says, this is a rough approximation of what this announcer, this voiceover person would sound like. Okay. Contact them for an actual demo. The other thing would be a watermark. Something needs to be over the top of this that will, you can't have a watermark like you have for Audio Jungle, where every few seconds you get a voice going, Audio Jungle. Okay, that wouldn't work very well for voiceover. And I don't think you want to have something that's really annoying, like over the top or that wouldn't be good either. But you could have what I suggested to him, white noise or pink noise. Shh, sound underneath. That would not get in the way of your being able to hear what that person sounds like, but it would get in the way of them being able to then rip it off and use it.
Hello, and welcome to Studio Takes.
Because otherwise, I can see a scenario like this. People coming onto YouTube and doing videos that say, hey, you're looking for a great new way to get voiceovers done? Maybe you are you have a channel and you just can't afford a regular announcer for your channel. Well, Fiverr is making it easy now because you can go and search for the voice of your choice on Fiverr, and all you have to do is just paste in the text a little at a time while you're running something like Audio Hijack in the background, and you'll be able to record the whole voiceover. And just like that, boom, you're going to have a free voiceover with whatever kind of voice you like. Choosing from the huge catalog of 25,000 voices on Fiverr, you can pick the one that you'd like. All you have to do is paste in the text, hit play a few times, record it, and you'll have your voiceover. So I don't think that we want to get into a situation like that, and that was one of the strongest points that I made during our meeting. Now, I want you to understand, I have nothing against Fiverr. I have nothing against Fiverr trying to do things to innovate and to stay ahead of the curve. This is all good, and I don't necessarily even have anything intrinsically against the idea of this audition approach if the disclaimer is in place and if there's a watermark in place. There's the potential here. And one other thing, which he did reassure me about, and that is that Fiverr will not own our voices at that point. The database containing our voice samples is under our control. He reassured me about that. Or more specifically, it's under our control through the software company they're hiring to do this, that if we say we want to opt out, we don't want anything more to do with this, they will delete our files. This is the promise that he gave when we were talking. And so we would have to be able to trust to that. Okay. But, with all of those things in place and the protection against it being used because it's in the clear so that it's watermarked, I can kind of go along with the basic idea of this. If it's disclaimed clearly, this is not exactly what you're going to get from this person. This just gives you a rough approximation of the tone of their voice or whatever it is. So just wanted to kind of bring you up to date on that, let you know what is going on, what they're trying right now. It is a test. It's not the final thing yet. It's just a test at this point. But just kind of give you an idea of what they're up to and where it could potentially go. Because, like I said, that if there's any part that right now to me feels a little darker, it's the idea that they might actually set people up against competition with each other based on AI voices on Fiverr as opposed to the real voices of people, where we would have to find ourselves competing with AI versions that are way cheaper. Or even an AI version of ourself that's way cheaper. Those things I'm not so sure I can ever go along with, but I try to keep an open mind and listen and learn and understand before I draw too deep a conclusion. Initially, that one doesn't sound too good to me. All right, one final thing here. How would you like a $100 free course just for getting an initial coaching session? That's what I'm offering right now. The GigWinners demo creation course has 5 dream team people involved in it, giving us advice on how to create a great voiceover demo. And it is absolutely free. It's a $100 course. So if you order it off my website right now, it's $100. I will give it to you with an initial $99 coaching session. So go to thegigdoctor.com if you'd like some information about that. thegigdoctor.com. Along with Pocket Frog, I'm Dane Scott. We'll catch you on the next one. Keep a good thought.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.